Hi, y'all, and welcome to Monday night's All Metal Mode podcast with Gypsy, myself, Amanda Digger DeGaz, and that's it. We have no guests tonight because we have lots to catch up on from our latest adventures. So, before we get started with the show, just a couple of reminders. The November's issue of Dirt Digest Magazine is available at dirtdigestmagazine.com. If you go to dirtdigestmagazine.com and click on current issue, it will bring up November's issue and you can go check it out. This is a monthly treasure hunting magazine that's awesome, full of articles and stories and reviews and finds. Next up is if you found something cool in the last month, heck, it could be even the last year, and you want to submit it, you could also submit it to Dirt Digest Magazine. All you have to do is email, let's see, I think it's mhaer, so it's MHAER at dirtdigestmagazine, all one word, .com, and use the subject line treasure room submission, and you could let them know where you found it, what you used, where your location is, what type of detectorist you are, and then any information about the find that you want to share, and it could be published in December's dirtdigestmagazine.com. So, all right, on to the show. Hey, Gypsy, how are you?
I am magnificent. How about you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, it's been good. Been real good. Just staying busy.
I saw you.
How about you?
I saw you've been out lately. I know you. You sent me a picture of a crazy buckle.
Yeah. Oh man, that buckle was so cool. I've never found a buckle like that before, so I was really excited about it. So I sent you a picture because you had found all those buckles not too long ago, and you had found kind of that cache of, if you will. I guess I'd call it a cache or a hoard, buckle hoard. Uh, so, of buckles, and so I was curious to see if you had found anything like that. And yeah,
That's
um, I've never found one that shaped. It looks as if it was hand hewn, like it's definitely made of brass, but you can tell it's just a little uneven. Probably not machine made or cut out. So um, I'm really not sure of the age.
hmm.
So the property we were detecting on, now the house in the front was 1890s, but um, the place we were detecting at, there's this. It's the original property. I'm trying to remember. It was owned by a. Now I can't even remember. But it was owned by a prominent man that helped that when the town started. And from what I do know, is the two houses on either side were built later by this man that owned that original house, built in the 1890s. So they were roughly built uh, after 1890, probably for family members. And but the lady I was detecting with, we had do some dump digging from time to time, and she had never really detected. She had kind of swung her husband has a detector that he had picked up years ago, an Ace, I think it was an Ace 200 or 250 or something like that. And she had swung it a few times in the backyard, so she's never really had any metal detecting experience. And so I let her use the Apex, and she was using the Viper coil, and I was testing out the two new coils that Garrett had sent me, um, the Ripper, which is the smaller 5x8, and the larger 5.5x11 coil. So I was trying those out with um, another Apex. And anyway, we had wandered on the property because the property goes way back, and he was showing us the property lines and everything. And he was also getting us permission to hunt the neighbors' yards.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we'll have to make that for another time to go back, because we still didn't even finish really detecting this one area. So we were detecting in the back part of the property, and we started hitting this area, and boom, she got that pocket watch right as we were walking up the hill. I don't know how many of you have seen the video yet, but I mean, for a first-time detectorist, she finds this gold-plated pocket watch that is just amazing. You couldn't tell it at the time how intricate the design was on it until she got it back and we started cleaning it off, and it was just beautiful, just beautiful. So if y'all get a chance, be sure and go check out the video and check out that pocket watch cleaned up. And then, so that, after she found that, we hit a spot in that area up on the hill where there was just loads of iron. You could just hear the iron nails in there. And that let us know that there was definitely another structure there at one time. And so we just slowed down, and then ended up putting the smaller coil on the next day. And that's when I just started popping all kinds of things out of all that iron-infested area. So those of you that don't switch coils on your detectors, I highly recommend a small coil when you're detecting in areas where structures once stood with the iron, because I've heard so many times where people say, "Oh, my large coil," and you've probably heard this too. It can pick out, it can pick out the good targets amongst all the iron. Well, yeah, some of them, you can pick out a lot of targets with some of those large coils, but you're still missing stuff. You will definitely find out if you switch to a small coil just how much you missed. Have you had that experience?
Yes, absolutely. Except I'm spoiled. So I have one machine with the small coil, one machine with the medium coil, one machine with the large coil. So
Right.
unless
It's
I'm
good
unless I'm yeah, if I'm going on that 5 mile, the huge property I have, then no, I end up throwing an extra. I'll put the actual smaller coil on, head to the
right,
iron, and then once I've done the iron for a while, I'll switch to the larger coil, and then
right.
and do the fields. So
Yeah, exactly. And those big coils are really good for if you're doing a field and you want to cover a large area, to get out there and really cover an area. But once you hit an iron patch, I would suggest go over the whole area with the large coil if you've already got it on your detector. Then go back, switch it to a smaller coil, and you're going to start finding stuff that you missed. So
yeah, and it is true. I know when I first switched to my I don't know the size. It's really small. And I'm in this big location. I'm like, you feel like, oh, I could be covering more ground, but yeah, if you find an iron patch or you designate an area that you've already gone over with the larger coil, definitely put the smaller coil on and try it. But yes, at first I was definitely scared. I'm like, I don't know if I want to, not covering as much area, and who knows what I'll find, but
right.
it shocked me. So yeah,
It
it's a
it
go-to.
really is a go-to. And I don't know. I know that you hunt a lot of fields, but what I've found is when you go out of the fields and you're going into the woods, the wooded area, or a really rocky terrain, it makes a big difference too with a small coil, because you can get
Hmm.
into those areas that if you got a big coil, you're going to have a really hard time even just swinging it in there. So,
Yep.
and getting into some of those areas. And I've noticed when I've got a small coil, I can just push it up in there, and I've pulled, so many things out that way that other people were swinging a large coil that were with me, and they couldn't even get in there. So,
Yep, I agree. Same with the cellar areas in the woods. The smaller coil, it can just get in there, and it's usually iron infested. So,
right, right. And that's what I'm really liking too about the Viper coil that comes standard on the new Apex is it's got that really narrow end, so you can get into those tight places, but it's 11 inches long, so it gives you a good coverage as well. So it's kind of got the best of both worlds. But I still found that by switching when I was in the iron area, switching from the two larger coils down to the small one made a big difference. So
it's awesome. Nope, that's awesome.
So, um, I also went on a dump dig. That video hasn't come out yet, and I know you've been kind of doing on kind of your I spying type uh, adventures lately. What have you found lately?
Well, so I don't think I brought it up in the last podcast, but I did get back to the infamous button dump. And I found a good handful of buttons I have never dug before. So pretty excited about that. I haven't really started cleaning, basically setting up my workstation a little bit more now that we're going to start getting into the colder weather, organizing it so I can get ready for cleaning. And I still need to get clips. The larger alligator clip for the electrolysis machine. Mine broke when I was doing those two guns earlier this summer.
Yeah.
So I put an order in for those so that way I can get ready to drop some interesting finds in the electrolysis tank. But some of my favorite that I found from this latest dump dig where I got like an old English button that's got C as in cat and P.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and I'm gonna butcher this, and I've tried it all night long. And then before that, a Knights of Pythias button.
Ah,
So that was a
never
first for
heard of it.
me. And it's crazy because there's actually one not far from where I live. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then I know in the past you had, I think with you, you had found a harp on a button, which is the Army Band core buttons. Did you find one of
Yeah,
those the last time?
uh,
The harp
tell
on
me
the,
about that. I found something similar, but
yeah,
um,
their army marching band or the army band. So I
okay,
found
okay.
one. Yep, I found one in really good shape. So I was excited about that. And then I think this one is not military. I think this is a civilian that was probably supporting. But it's anchors and they're crossed. So there's two anchors that are actually, so they're crossed anchors with a steel back,
Ooh,
or it's
have you
rusted back
researched
right
that
now.
one yet?
I couldn't
You know
find
the
anything on it. It's the same thing as
oh,
the where I found the anchor with the piece of wheat behind it. And I'm like, I can't find, I've seen one or two on eBay and they say they're military, but there's nothing. So I'm like, I really don't feel as though that they are an actual military button, whereas it would probably be a civilian that supported or was married to, or um, a patriotic button that was worn by civilians. So, but I can't find anything else on it. So, yeah,
very interesting. Yeah, I
yeah,
remember. I can't believe how many different anchor type buttons we pulled out of there just even last time when I was in
yeah,
there.
yep,
And there was some that I never found. So I don't know. It's interesting how much different things that have come out of that one dump and still not quite able to research or find. Maybe
yeah.
someday we'll find some information on it.
Actually, it's pretty funny because what I try to do too is each time I go is I separate out how many fire department, how many police, how many anchor, how many eagle and kind of just try to separate out and, put more information around it about, you know, where were these clothes coming from? Are there a lot more from New York? Are there more from New Jersey or Connecticut? And,
Right.
so I tried to put some of that information down so I can at least keep track of my own, what I seem to see. And I do know
Right.
that the police buttons are way fancier than the fire department. So it's kind of interesting to think of, there seemed to have been probably more money in the police than there was in the fire district and in that type of an atmosphere um, and it goes to show on their buttons. So I don't know. It was
Right.
interesting.
Right.
Something you theorize like, okay, well, that stinks. The fire department, this is all they had, but yet you have these police with these like, very
Fancy.
ornate and yeah, designs. But then I've also I located our textile woolen mill. And
Really?
yeah, so I've been doing some scouting work around that. And this past weekend, or last week after the show, I think I called it the stabby knife, but I was more or less moving the leaves around, seeing what I
Oh, is
could
that where you
find.
found that?
Yeah, that's where. So
Oh,
that is a throwing knife, but so the people know who are listening, any knife that's not a butter knife or a pocket knife or a pen knife and it's pointy, and when I find it, that's the first thing that comes to mind. It's very stabby, like somebody probably got stabbed with
Debbie.
this knife. Yep. And this thing
Yeah.
is definitely a stabby knife, but no, a couple people let me know that it is, it is more than likely a throwing knife. So, but
That's interesting. Yeah, I'd never seen a knife. I mean, I've seen knives shaped like that, but I've never found a knife shaped like that. And I've found all kinds of knives, just as you have too.
yeah,
So I'd seen that, but I never uh, found out, what you found out about it. So that's interesting.
yep, throwing knife. So someone must have lost it, and in the leaves. But so I went back after finding, I'd found a four-hole button, but it was an actual brass button. So a couple other things, and I went back there this weekend, and I found what I thought was a little toy gun. And this is why, yeah, I ordered the alligator clips, but um, a lot of actual people are thinking that it's perhaps a lady's garter pistol based on
Ooh.
the way it looks and the shape. And I
Yeah, the shape
obviously,
was really interesting.
yeah, and it's very petite and it is definitely iron encrusted. So, um, yeah, that will probably be the first that I will be dropping in the electrolysis tank once.
Amazing. I can't wait to see that. Yeah, it makes you wonder, they might have stuck it in their, like their little garter stocking or something like that. Or, you know, they really didn't wear well, they wore more like I guess the garter type hose that came up and clipped. So
Yep.
they could easily stick it under there or, I don't know what they did back then. Where did they put their guns? Down their sleeves?
Probably in, you know, somewhere discreet.
Somewhere discreet.
uh,
Right? So that would be interesting just to even research right there to kind of find out. I mean, some of them might have even worn a strap around their leg or something, so all they would have to do is kind of raise their skirt a little and grab it.
yep.
Easy access. So,
Yep.
um,
So same, the other two that I had been working on that I killed the electrolysis tank with, I can finish up too. So those are the two that I found in the river this summer too. So I'm hoping to get all three cleaned up before the beginning of the new year. So that will be exciting. Have a little more information on that. Um, and then there's a new area, another one that
oh gosh,
I had brought it up to you that if you come up this way, there's a new location for not just detecting and not just dump digging, but I Spy. So I found a new area that a good friend told me about, and they'd seen some of the stuff I had found. They're like, "Hey, you might like it over here," and like gave me some different areas to look. And yeah, one of the areas was a big port, and um, y- so
Oh.
I've been going there, and I mean, the last mystery coin, so not this weekend's mystery coin, but last mystery coin was it was an 1860 something Indian head penny. So once the crust came off, because I just thought it was someone dropped change, well, because there's still boats that go out of that area. But no, it was an Indian head penny. So,
Oh.
and a skeleton key and some other stuff. But I also keep finding lead bale seals, which makes sense because it was a port. And that was where, textiles and product was being moved in. So they might have actually cut the bags open to, sell the merchandise right there. But lots of really interesting lead bale seals. But I'd also found the mystery coin this weekend. So sadly, though, it's 1945. It is a British halfpenny. But I mean, I saw it in the size of it, and when you're talking about water and mud and kind of
Right.
dump, but not really dump like conditions, they're all
Uh-huh.
encrusted. So I was like, oh my God, it's like bigger than a quarter, smaller than, a large cent. And I'm like, what could it be? And
Uh,
I saw the Georges, and I'm like, oh, it's something.
uh,
And yeah,
that's so exciting.
1945 British halfpenny. I'm like, darn it. But it
Well,
was,
just those bag seals alone, that makes you, I mean, any time you have a port and they're bringing in, grains or any kind of thing by boat, it makes you wonder, um, I mean, it's probably countless what you can find there if you really,
yeah.
you know,
I met a scuba diver a couple weekends ago going out right there. And I was like,
really?
are you looking? Because I had met someone before the scuba diver had gotten there. And he's like, are you looking for gold coins? And I'm like, "Phew, I wish. Yeah, I guess I'm looking for gold coins." He's like, oh, well, a couple months ago, there was a gold colonial coin found here in the water. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm a little late to that game. No, I didn't actually know that there was gold.
So,
Yep.
is that what
So,
he's looking for then?
uh,
What was he looking for?
he was looking for anything. I mean, he pulled up some jugs that were just
Oh,
amazing,
wow.
and some, what else? I think he pulled up like an old, probably a Pontal flask. Yeah, there's
Oh,
some.
my gosh.
So I'm like, all right, yeah, the seal's the deal. I definitely need to go and get my scuba license.
Well, this
Or,
summer, if I can get the Blue 3,
yep,
we'll do that. Let's
blue
do that.
3.
How deep is it there? It's probably not too deep. 10, 12
During
feet,
low tide, no, it's not
5
not
feet,
bad at
3 feet.
all. It's a harbor,
Perfect.
so yep.
So, yeah, during low time, that would be perfect for us.
Yep,
Let's
and
do it. Let's
that's
do it.
where they were going out, and yeah, he came up. I'm like, "Have you ever found any clay pipes down there?" I'm asking him all the
Right?
stuff, like, "What have you found?" And I mean, but they did anything that they brought up, even with it being broken. Like there was some good chunks coming out of bottles and stuff. They took it with them. So I couldn't even
Right.
like look at the discard pile because they took everything with them. So, but yeah, it is one of those spots that the next time, when and if and when you get back up here, it will be
Right.
a visit for you.
Well, I tell you, with COVID on the rise again, it's getting scary, but I'm traveling Thursday. I'm going to Georgia. We're going to do a little kids hunt up there at a land conservation trust thing on some historical property, but this is just going to be a seated hunt for the kids. And Garrett's sending up some detectors, and we're going to have a hunt, and I'm giving away some prizes and silver coins and silver rounds and a few little odds and ends, some zero discrimination YouTube stuff, a T-shirt and some stickers and flashlights and other cool little stuff. So looking forward to that. That hunt is this Saturday. If any of you are in Georgia, contact me and I'll let you know the location and stuff. But unfortunately, it's already full. They've already got, I think, 30 kids. They capped it at 30 kids. And I think it's going to be great. Anyway, they're going to have everybody, even though the event's going to be outside because of COVID and everything, everybody's going to be wearing masks, but it would be great for the young generation, bringing some new, detectors, hopefully, to the hobby, getting those kids interested. And also, since, I represent not only Garrett, but I also represent Digger's Den. Most of you know that are listening to Digger's Den. You can check out our website. We sell all brands of metal detectors, but we're going to have a special on those detectors that Garrett's sending. So even though it'll only be used one time for the hunt, along with some pinpointers. So if you know anybody that's looking for a gift for Christmas at a great discount, you can just contact me or Brian at Digger's Den, and we can get you a great price. So, and Steve, I'll be flying into Georgia on Thursday. So I'll get there late Thursday evening, around 5, or night, I should say, around 5 something. And I've got a friend that's picking me up from the airport, and so it should be also one of my fans from my YouTube channel is going to carry us out detecting that lives there, I think, Friday. So we're going to have a full day of detecting on Friday, then Saturday will be the hunt. So if you got any questions, you can just message me, and I'll give you some more info. But unfortunately for the kids, it's already full, and we've already got kind of plenty of help. But if you want to meet up or anything while I'm there, I might have a little time. We'll see. So let me know if you're interested. I'd love to meet some of you that live in the Georgia area.
So awesome.
It'll be fun.
Yeah,
so,
it sounds it.
It definitely will. Yeah, it's not that far. I would drive, but since I'm going to have a short time there, and I usually don't like to do wear and tear on the car, and then I have to rent a rental car and stuff like that. So anyway, it's just easier to just fly in. And right now with Southwest, they're still skipping. You don't sit right by anyone, and they're taking really good precautions. So with the COVID, so I've been flying quite a bit. If y'all haven't seen the flight, I went to Florida the week before, so I've got a video on that, the stuff I found in Florida on the beach, so that was a lot of fun too.
Yeah, your birthday hunt.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I can't believe you and Lou last week singing happy birthday.
He's a hoot.
He's a mess. He is so much fun. Let's see. We have an announcement too. Wayne, Nugget Brain Wayne, he's in the chat tonight, and he has a big hunt going on in Colorado this coming next year. So hopefully all the COVID mess will be over, and that should be a big hunt. Expecting at least 50 to 70 some odd people this time. He's got a huge silver hunt coming up, and you can email him for information. He can send you the forms. His is nuggetbrain1 at msn.com, That is his email. That's nuggetbrain1 at msn.com for more information on that. He is also the president of Watts. If you all don't know what Watts is, it is a worldwide association of treasure seekers. And I don't know, a lot of you probably know Keith Wills, and him and another person that was a big founder with Whites had recently passed away. But but what I'm getting at is Keith has done a lot, and the Worldwide Association has done a lot for our hobby to help keep it open, so they don't shut down some of our public spots and areas with a lot of law making and stuff that goes along with that. So it's a really good organization. To find out more information about Watts, you can also message Nugget Brain Wayne to get more info about that. There's also a Facebook page on Watts for more info about the upcoming hunt as well. Let's see. What else? Do you have any questions for Amanda or I tonight?
Are you going to get back to that spot you were at for the that you were talking about, that you were getting permission to the neighbors, but you'd only gotten a partial? Are you getting back there before you travel out?
I won't have time before I travel out, so because I leave Thursday, I'm trying to get everything that needs to be done before I leave, house chores and stuff like that. And get all my packing, make sure I've got everything I need packed and ready. But probably, hopefully, when I get back, I would like to, for the owner, I would like to give him and his wife the finds that I found and put them in a little display case. I haven't done that yet. I'm still cleaning up some of the finds, but I'd like to do that as well and present that to him. And he was kind enough to call all his neighbors while we were there to get us these other permissions. So I definitely would like to do that for him as well. What about you? What's some of the other things? I know you found the gun. What else have you found lately?
Besides the buttons and throwing knife and lead bale seals, I did find a pretty neat spoon. But I know I've also been working on the display cases. So I have a few to drop off that I'm pretty excited about. That these are permissions that I know I've talked about in the past, that the only reason I was allowed to metal detect it is because I was and had agreed that everything goes back. So I'm very excited on a couple of these display cases to go back. So I do need to post those, but I know one that
That's awesome.
it's the original, like their great grandparents are the ones that settled in the area at this location, and I actually found a monogram spoon with, I know it's their last name, but I'm not sure who in the family the first initial is, so I'm pretty excited for that too. So I got to start doing rounds to, yeah, drop those off. It's definitely getting a little too cold to play in the water. I know even this past weekend it wasn't too cold, but even getting, your hands wet and picking up wet items and the wind blowing and it being, it felt like, I think the real feel was 37. It gets chilly, so I probably will stick to metal detecting and bottle dump digging here
Right.
going forward. I know that the textile mill, so I've located 3 dumps. Only one had that 4-hole button. Really, what I'm looking for is another button dump, like the one that we went to, um,
Right.
which there's a good chance that there's one here. I just need to figure out which of the many, because it's also in one of the oldest parts of the town. So the dumps behind some of these large houses are, they're family dumps. At the same time, too, the way that the properties are, whenever there's water or rain, basically the town has it diverted to go through the backyards of these places. So you find a dump or you think you find a dump, and it's a good chance it's just wash off, years and years of wash off layer and not the actual dump. So,
Right.
yeah, I do. I have a little bit more work to do there. Um, it not being light out until 6:37 and then getting dark at like 4:15, it stinks. Uh,
Oh, Loy mentioned about you and Steph digging in the button dump in a video last week. I haven't got to see that video yet, but I guess Steph has uploaded the video of y'all digging in the button dump, so I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, she did post part one, so it ended up being
Uh-huh.
a two-parter. Um,
Awesome.
so yeah, I will share that so you guys can laugh at me.
Oh, now.
Steph's
Um,
video.
yeah, I'll have to check that out. I haven't watched it yet, so I'm anxious to see that because it's going to bring back memories for me and it's going to make me wish I was there. But Steph's still so much fun, and I wish, yeah. Don't get me
Yes.
started on our trip canceling this year that we had planned. But
Yeah, it's no fun. I mean, though she did, we had separated and gone, so the basic area that you and I were in while we were there,
hmm
I went to the left to an older spot that I originally had adventured in, and she went to the
uh-huh.
right in a new area that seemed to
hmm
be. So she found some things that I have never seen come from the button dump. So,
Wow.
but I think that's going to be a while before that one posts. So, yeah, some very
Okay.
cool things. I think this is like the dump where you just have to say what you hope to find.
Right. Right.
As you're entering the dump, and then there's a very good chance you'll find it. So, kind of like Scott, he had met us there, and I was asking him because I had found gold there, and you had found tokens, and I don't know, I think we found a weedy. And some other things, but I had asked him, have you found anything like any coins or silver, and he had said no silver, and he said he'd only found some stinking Wheaties. And so, yeah, he went and he pulled silver and
The silver.
yeah,
Right.
and he pulled silver coin. And
Yeah,
so,
we really got to start calling that and more putting that out into the universe. Hey, we want to find this, we want to find that,
yeah,
because it seems to come like that sometimes. I don't know what it is, but I've seen that happen more than once. You start putting that out, and boom, there you get that silver bucket lister you've been looking for, or
yep.
a certain button or gold coin or something like that. And I never do that. I'm just gonna have to start doing that.
I do it with the I Spy. I'm like, I'd really like to find a marble today, or I really want to find
Right?
a unique lead bale seal, or um, now with the Derringer pistol thing, I know I didn't have that in my
Mm,
mind at all. You just never know.
right?
Sometimes
You
the
just get
universe
those nice,
surprises you. Yep.
yeah, those really nice surprises. So yeah, definitely that makes it all worthwhile right there when you get those nice surprises that aren't even on your radar.
Yes. Yep. I mean, don't get me wrong though. This new location is somewhere that like I don't carry per se with me at this one, but I do have my mace spray, and
Right,
I have my
right.
knife, and I don't carry my gun because I don't know. You just don't.
Yeah.
But too close to residences. I figure if I screamed, there's people around. But yet at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I'll take some safety precautions.
Exactly. That's the way this dump is. That that'll probably come out next week. It might. I've got several videos to upload, but I kind of have to decide which one to upload first. But this is one that I did film last week, and with my friends that we went to the old dump. And this particular area, we have to hike down this big ravine down by the river, and then I knew that there was a homeless camp there. And it's not that I'm scared of homeless people, but here's the thing. In the past, up along this area, I have found interesting objects that, one time my son was with me, and my oldest son, and he found a crack pipe. So that gives you an idea of what kind of area, and I've seen needles laying on the ground. So with that said, you don't know, what these people could be strung out on. So this particular time I went with two of my friends. I went with my friend Cinder and her husband, Jacob. So I felt safe being there with friends. So if I would have been alone, like I am a lot of times,
Yeah.
it's scary. So you have to be cautious when you're out there. So even then, I usually carry, mace and other things, weapons. I don't own a gun, but I need to buy me one, I guess. I've shot them before, I just don't own one. So maybe it's time I get one.
Yeah. No time like the present.
Right, right. So, yeah, I don't mention that in the video, which I probably should have shown the homeless camp because we were right beside it. And this time it had grown. And we noticed at the base of where we were digging that some of this area looked like it had been recently dug in. And so when we were leaving, I noticed looked like a old fridge, like how you get those fridge drawers. Like these homeless people had stuff strung out everywhere that wasn't there the previous time I'd been to this dump. There was literally not just trash, but things like, I guess they collect things, I don't know, all over that they can repurpose or use. And there was a fridge drawer, and I looked in it as we were walking down to leave, and there was like broken bottles and stuff that I guess they had dug and set it inside this drawer. So, I'm assuming that was them that dug there and not some other, regular bottle digger or whatever. So maybe I'm just wrong on my assumption, but,
You never know. I mean, you
you
don't.
really don't. Somebody said I needed to bring a medieval, or what do they say, a
Yes.
medieval sword or something. I tell you what I do bring usually in my backpack. I have a really super sharp that I usually use in the woods, not a machete, because I found this really cool little hatchet, and this thing is mega sharp. I've even cut myself on it. It's so sharp. But I've got in my backpack too, besides my pepper spray and mace and stuff, and my shovels that I carry that I could probably cut somebody with if I needed.
I mean, what I have won't do anything to a bear, so except probably aggravate the bear. So more or less, there's other, things that I'll carry with me. The good thing too is I'm sure you do it as well as I do, is I always make sure people know where I am, and I keep my location on my phone, and So yeah, but yeah, what I carry wouldn't scare a bear.
Well, if you get that gun cleaned up enough and you can get it restored, there you
Yes.
go. All these guns that you found. Did you ever the other two guns? How did they come out that you found?
That's I killed the electrolysis with them. So that's
Oh, that's right. Okay, so you need the new
yep,
uh, thing for it. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha.
yep. I'm trying to remember. I remember going out with my dad and I think it was called, this might sound silly, an A3, like it's a training rifle for the
Mhm.
military, was out in the woods, but I remember us him pulling that up and we were just like, "Oh my God." Like what in the
Wow.
world? Um, yeah, it's crazy what you find in the woods. It's even
Right.
crazier what you find in some of the city parks. So agree with the crack
Uh,
pipes and the drug needles and the
yeah, it's scary. Steve had a good idea. He commented, use wasp or hornet spray, which that's easy to carry in your backpack. And that thing's got a long spray. And that stuff, I don't know if any of you've ever gotten that on you. It's, it's definitely
yeah.
would burn you kind of like mace and stuff. So,
I would review that because I think I saw, a, a training video, and as scary and bad as it was supposed to like actually hurt and hurt somebody's eyes, it didn't
hmm
compare with there's that 3 for 1, which is the pepper spray mace, but it also
hmm
has that ultraviolet like paint. So if, say it ever did happen,
Oh, so it won't come off of them.
yep. And that was supposed to do way more damage, and it's much more compact and easy to have in your
Yeah, because
pocket. And
you can have like I have my mace right there on my backpack. So if someone walked up on me, I could just slide it off and have it in my hand there, and they wouldn't even see it because it's small enough. It fits in my hand. They wouldn't even know I had it there if they came at me.
yeah, I also think about, the shovels that we carry nowadays, complete metal. You got
Right,
the ragged edges. I'm like, yeah, you swing that at someone and it hits. It's gonna hurt. So,
right, right. It's sad that we have to think about, defending ourselves these days because, I think about, and when we were kids, we could go just about anywhere and, you know, on our bicycles or walks and hiking and stuff like that and nothing. And then these days you run into all kinds of crazy. So you do, and you do, especially us as women, um, you know,
yeah.
I think we are a bit of a target for some people, sadly. So that's not good.
Amphibious. They call him predator for a reason. Shovel's gotta eat too. Ah,
Right,
that was pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah.
right.
Those predator shovels are too. Especially if you've got the pedal on it or whatever it is, the foot thing. Whew.
The foot
It's got some extra
pedal,
weight
yeah,
down there. Yep.
right. But boy, those little teeth on that side, they will cut those roots. So they could do some damage if somebody came at you.
Yes, I've done some damage throwing it in the back of my truck. You want to be careful to slide it in and set it down and not say like put a hole in the back seat of your driver's side.
Right. Patrick just said, meanwhile, I feel guilty killing a beetle. I feel guilty, when you dig a plug and you pop out all those worms or you cut a worm in half. I feel terrible about that. Oh,
You don't even yeah. Yep. We have a mouse problem in my home. And
ah,
so what I've done is I have 8 Home Depot buckets with a little bit of seed on the bottom that I set them in the areas that I've had the mouse
you
problem.
trap them.
And I do. And then I put them in I have like an aquarium tank. So a week ago, I released 7 of them about 2 miles from my home. And then this
Wow.
past Saturday, I released another 7. I'm like,
Holy moly.
yeah, yup.
Well, if you get the cat, you may have a natural,
Yes,
will of,
yes.
you know what I'm talking about. You won't feel as guilty. I always feel bad when my cat, I have 2 cats, so when they go out, my cat will bring in lizards, so I'll have to go grab the lizard from the cat and go find another place to put it before she kills it and
Yep.
plays with it and tries to eat it. But
Yeah, and we can't use poison around here because of our chickens. And I mean, you've seen what
right,
happens to owls and stuff. And yeah, so we just choose not to do that. But yeah, 14 mice in the last 2 weeks. I'm like, uh-oh.
yeah.
It's
But you got to
'cause,
make sure since you got chickens, if you get a cat, I know this is totally getting off subject here. Sorry, folks.
uh, I re- I release them in an area that there are no homes, really. Yeah.
There you go. I guess we kind of got off subject, but yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, you need to get your cat.
Yeah. Well, no,
Or snakes.
this is where
Mine's just
I
snakes.
don't spend enough time doing the stuff around the home because I'm out treasure hunting.
Because you're out hunting. I know,
Yeah.
right? Right, exactly. Oh,
Where,
gosh.
yep.
Well, how are we doing on time here? Anybody got any questions before we wrap it up for the evening? I know a lot of you like to hop on the other show after this, give you a little bathroom break in between. Um, Anybody got any questions for Amanda?
I don't know. Ohio wanted a refund from last week because we ended early. So,
Yeah, that's true. Well, we try to give everybody at least 5-10 minutes.
mm.
You know.
Yeah, David, the housework will keep until the house disintegrates and all of the
That's the way
little
I feel about
animals,
housework.
yeah, all the little animals then live in the house.
I'd rather clean my finds and organize them and clean my detectives and anything we do with metal detecting research than clean house. Nope.
That's why none of you get many videos from me is because I'd rather be digging than editing.
Right. Uh, yeah. Don't even get me started there. That's why I do it all on my phone now. I'm too lazy.
No, Ohio, I couldn't catch the neighbor's cats.
Yeah, I was reading that too.
And actually, we have a coyote and fox, and all I know is that there's multiple missing cats. So maybe that's why we have such a mice problem right now.
Oh, I've got a question for all of our listeners. Have you ever encountered like a coyote or wild pack of dogs or anything when you're out detecting? Because Mike Hare and I discussed this before, where he was out once and there was these huge dogs that came and attacked. And just curious, what if any of you have had that experience before, or have you, Amanda?
I had a problem with a person who couldn't control an animal, or their
Oh,
dog.
really? Wow.
Thankfully, the homeowner saw the people chasing the dog, um, and were able to scream at me, and I was digging a plug
Which,
on my knees
right?
and looked up, and there was a snarling Doberman.
Oh,
And yep. And I was like, oh my
what
God.
did you do?
I was like, I yelled at the dog. I yelled at it.
Yeah.
It was like,
Like
no.
a
Yeah.
like an
And
instant
yes,
response.
yep.
Yeah.
And the property owner started screaming, they were getting close, not the property owner, the dog owner started getting closer, and the dog like saw that they were coming closer and it bolted. And the dog owner was like, "I'm so sorry." And I'm like, "You need to control your dog." Like, what in? Yep. So that was about it. That was, yeah, having any
Yeah.
dogs unexpectedly come up on you is not a pleasant.
Yeah, that's something that detectors, when we're out hunting and digging and stuff, we don't only have to worry about some of the people, but we do have to worry about the, animals that might be in our area. People's dogs, like the encounter you had, coyotes. Wayne says he's seen mountain lions and Gila monsters. And I know that we've got a lot of coyotes in our area. We heard them a few nights ago. And yeah, I mean, um, it's 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 not a joke. It's
Well, at the same
it's
time too, like you could be the most like loving of dogs and whatnot,
true.
and they see, some of them, like I know a couple property owners that I can go over, and if I'm not in my gear and I don't have my shovel or detector, those dogs love me. But the minute they see me and I'm wearing,
A
what I'm
hat
wearing,
and
I'm
you're
wearing a
swinging the
hat.
detector,
They do
right?
not. Oh my gosh. They immediately, it's like they forgot who I am. So I think it
Right,
is intimidating to animals that, you've got this big thing you're holding on to and you've got a shovel. And so, yeah, even the nicest dog seems to become a scaredy cat. And yeah, at
right,
least that's my
right.
2 cents on it. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, and Swamp Fox mentioned bears too. I mean, it's
Hmm.
true. Some of these areas, and they're releasing more bears into the wild, and even where I detect in East Texas and stuff. So this could very well be a problem sometime. And like I've encountered the wild hogs, and some of them can be extremely dangerous if they're protecting their young. So this is something, especially if you're out detecting by yourself, just, be careful.
Make a lot
Make
of
sure somebody,
noise. Lots of
yeah, make a lot
noise.
of noise. Be sure somebody knows where you're at. Have a cell phone with you. Although some of the areas lately, I go detection in, there's no signal.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh
we
boy.
also do have bobcats and fisher cats. And those
Oh,
things,
wow.
when fisher cats are like, I think it's fisher cats.
How
When
big are those?
pretty good size,
They're
maybe
bigger than a,
smaller than a fox.
okay.
Um, but when they're killing something, it sounds like a little baby's being murdered.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, that's like the Panthers that used to be like around West Texas in the McCamey area where I lived. Um, my dad said growing up where he lived, you could hear them, and it sounded like a woman like crying for help out, and
Mm.
sometimes they'd say they'd sound like a baby, a human baby too. So it's creepy. Well, I think we're about done for the evening. Um, Anything else? Any other announcements we need to make?
No, if you have found something cool, and it doesn't even matter if it was in the last year, if you just put when you found it, um, definitely submit some stuff over to the treasure room for the Dirt Digest magazine. I know that they are always excited to see new finds and your finds. I got to remember to do that this month too. So
Yeah. Oh, and I got to write a article too that I need to do a review on the coils, the new Apex coils. So
awesome.
I
Looking
told
forward to that.
Mike said I would do that, so I need to get on that tomorrow before I leave town. So, all right. Well, great show. It was fun chatting with you, Amanda.
Absolutely.
Good luck this week, and send me some photos if you find anything cool. So,
Same to you, and good luck at your hunt, and definitely some safe travels.
thank you. I definitely will. Well, thank you all for listening tonight. We always enjoy it. You all have a fantastic week, and have fun digging, and just be safe. Happy hunting, y'all. Good night.
Good night.